Hello, this is FurryMurray7, and in response to some comments on a previous video that I did, I showed off some of my Batman Arkham City skills. It wasn't about Batman Arkham City, it was just about my sweepstakes. I'm giving away a $5 Amazon.card gift card. But some of the people said that that they were having a little bit of trouble, so I decided to show you guys. I'm going to use Catwoman in this, and I'm going to do this on the Iceberg Lounge VIP room. The only way you'll be able to get this map is either by downloading it, if you don't have the Game of the Year edition, or if you do have the Game of the Year edition, I believe that the map comes with the game. Using Catwoman on the Iceberg Lounge VIP room, the first thing you should do, when the round first starts, you won't come across any armored enemies. So, I think that the best thing would be just doing strikes. Don't use any special moves. Just go around the room as fast as you can, doing just normal strikes. Now, you will notice that my character kind of flies all the way across the room. I don't know if that's possible in real life, but if you turn your controller towards an enemy, your character will just skyrocket toward that enemy in an attempt to hit him. You need your control stick needs to be pointed in the direction of an enemy for it to work. If your control stick is not pointed in the direction of where an enemy is, and you press the strike button, then what happens is you'll perform a strike in that direction, but you won't hit anyone. And if you perform any moves not hitting anybody, with the exception of evades, then you will immediately lose your combo. Sometimes sometimes it may be a little bit embarrassing, but you run through these enemies so fast that you kind of run out of enemies. The game tries to help you not run out of enemies by giving you a constant supply of enemies to hit. But if you're going through these enemies so fast, sometimes all the enemies are on the ground and you can't see any enemies that are still standing that you can hit. And you need to continuously hit enemies. One thing you can do that you can buy yourself some time is by doing redirects. Double tap the A button and it does a redirect. Also, I should have you know that strikes do more damage than counters. You noticed I haven't really done any counters yet. The reason why is because counters are only worth 10 points. But strikes will be worth double points if you do a critical strike. Not only will it be worth double points, but your multiplier will increase by 2 instead of 1. Critical strikes are actually the only move that'll increase your combo multiplier by more than 1 per hit. So, critical strikes are pretty important. So if you can avoid doing counters, try to avoid. If you feel like you kind of have to do a counter, go ahead and do it. But strikes are worth more points. They'll get you more points than regular counters. Now, Catwoman is very fast. Now, you'll notice that I'm using the bolas a lot. Now, the enemies with the blue stun sticks, if you hit them directly, not only will you take damage, but you'll also lose your combo. What you can do, what the game tells you to do, is to redirect them, and then hit them from behind. I think, for me, it's actually a lot easier by just throwing bolas at them. When you hit one of those guys with a bola, they'll automatically drop the stun stick. Not only will it count toward a point for your combo multiplier, but they'll drop the stun sticks. So that's what you can do. Another great use of bolas is as an alternative to countering. When somebody is sprinting up to you, that means you know they're going to hit you. So, a great thing about bolas is that they're fast enough that you can use them instead of a counter. The only problem is it's sometimes difficult to control which enemy the bola hits, especially if there's a whole bunch of enemies right next to each other. You may want to hit a specific enemy with the bola, and instead the bola will hit a different enemy. The guys with the riot shields can be annoying, but they're pretty straightforward. You just have to do an aerial attack on them. Now, it's important to know that the only enemies that cannot be aerial attacked are armored enemies and enemies with stun sticks. Now, if you try to do an aerial attack on an armored enemy, or a directed aerial attack, the enemies wearing the red armor, you can start the first part of an aerial attack on an armored character. I actually do that quite a few times in this video. You'll see that. But if you do that, you're going to have to immediately switch to a directed aerial attack. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, I'm using a lot of game-specific terms here. You need to go into your single-player mode and look up all of this stuff and practice it in single-player. It's important to note that if you buy an upgrade in the single-player story, then the upgrade will be available in Riddler's Revenge. So make sure you buy as many upgrades as you can in the story mode. That way you can use the upgrades in Riddler's Revenge. Now, as you watch, you'll notice that I don't do very many blade dodges or blade dodge takedowns. I do only about 2 or 3 of them in this match, and I know that some of you are probably mad at me for not doing more blade dodges. I'm like, why aren't you doing more blade dodges? Don't you realize that you can get 100 times the combo multiplier? And here's my point of view about blade dodge and blade dodge takedowns. If you're playing regular combat mode, that's the one that's not where you're fighting infinite enemies. You're fighting, a certain number of rounds and then you're done. When you're doing that, or this also applies if you're in the story mode, the point is to get as high of a variation bonus as possible. Blade dodge takedowns, the game counts both blade dodges and blade dodge takedowns as normal counters. So, for instance, if you're in a fight and you perform a counter, a blade dodge, and a blade dodge takedown, your variation bonus does not increase by 3, it only increases by 1. So that's the thing about blade dodges in the context of story mode and the normal combat maps. They don't affect your variation bonus at all whatsoever. Now, in this, I suppose I could be doing more blade dodges, but it's really not as necessary as a lot of people will say. Like, some people will say stuff like, well, if you don't do blade dodges, you're never going to get a high score. And that's simply not true. Yeah, you will get a higher score if you do blade dodges. Your score will be higher than if you didn't do the blade dodge. But the thing about blade dodges is they take a lot of time to practice. You in order to get good at blade dodges, so you can use them in a context like this, you need to practice them. And not everybody gets them, 100% of the time. You watch some of these videos on YouTube about, pros who play this game, even they don't get blade dodges, 100% of the time, because the timing is so tricky. Different enemies have different speeds at which they swing blades, and some playable characters are slower and some are faster, so it takes a lot of practice. And of course, I'm not saying that if you want to do blade dodges all the time, then you're wrong. You can play however you like. It's your game, your personal play style. Play however you like. But in my opinion, the time that it takes to master blade dodges is really not worth what you get out of it. It's just not worth it. To sit there for it took me a while to master the blade dodges, and even then, I still don't get them 100% of the time. Nobody does. I think the best place, if you really are serious about the blade dodges, the best place to practice them is in the story mode in Park Row, right next to City Hall. Actually, I don't really know what that building is called. It's the big building that's half of it is on fire. It's the one where you first meet Catwoman in the game, right in the beginning of the game. Right behind that building is a guy with a knife. If you've progressed far enough into the story mode, that is. In my opinion, that's actually the best place to practice blade dodges, because that guy is isolated. Fighting him will not draw attention from anyone else. There's only one other enemy actually in the area with him, but it's fine. You don't have to. He won't be a problem. So I think that's the best place to practice blade dodges. But in my opinion, the points that you get from blade dodges, even though it is the most expensive in terms of points, most expensive ability move in the game, I just think compared to the alternatives of what you could do to get, when someone comes at you swinging a knife, you can hit him with a bola, which is very good, because bolas are extremely fast. You can hit him with a bola, you can redirect over them, you can even hit knife enemies with a aerial attack, or directed aerial attack. So, in my opinion, practicing the blade dodges is not worth the time, in my opinion. You can do anything else pretty much just as well. So, and that's it. I hope this video helped you. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, all of the throughout the video, I had some pop-ups with some words in bold green letters. The words that were in green bold letters, those are names of techniques and attacks. And you can find all of that stuff in the back computer. In the single player mode, press the back button or the select button and go to Wayne Tech, and you can go to combat and you can see all of that stuff. Make sure you scroll through that information and practice. You need to practice these techniques in order to get good at it. So, thank you very much for watching. If this video helped you at all, even if it only helped you a little bit, make sure you please leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching. This video is part of TGN's Way Movement, a career path in video. For more info, check out my channel, or go to tgn.tv.